glorify the passing of Mrs. Smith, our transvestite teacher. She wasn't pretty, but she will be missed. Mostly by weirdos like him. But it's okay, because we all need someone to love us, especially weirdos like him. Just in case we're clear, I'm talking about him. Alright. Mrs. Smith taught us a lot of things. Not all of them were right, because she didn't think I invented the chicken. And if I didn't invent the chicken, who invented the chicken if it wasn't me? She's dead.
She's still alive.
Get over it, she's dead.
Still alive.
You could be next. Right.
You did not invent chicken.
And if I didn't invent the chicken, really, that's a lie. I clearly invented the chicken, the hippopotamus, Mongolian chicken, and a whole lot of other things.
You are lying.
Anyone who argues with me will die. Right. Mrs. Smith had beautiful buttocks. Now this was a known fact. I think God would see it as a sin not to speak of these buttocks. Now of course, the word talks may be included, but these butt cheeks did not in fact talk. They're just called butt talks, because that is how the English language goes. Alright? Can we get over it? No? Alright. Mrs. Smith was also a charismatic goat herder.
Goat herder.
There were goats which needed herding, and on her day off, which is Sunday, as the good Lord intended, praise be Allah, Jesus, and everyone else. Right. She would herd goats, because that's what goat herders do. Herd goats. Mrs. Smith was also a lot of other things that I can't remember at this point in time. She did so love to open her letters. Some of them were hate mail. Some of them were not. Some of them were discount coupons. Some of them were bills. Some of them were, you get those electricity bills and water bills and so on and so forth. Point being, some of them were love letters, because there are people in this world, like him, who are weird. And weirdos, like him, sent messages to Mrs. Smith, which said, "Dear Mrs. Smith, I do so love your buttocks." Now this was by no means crass, because Mrs. Smith did indeed have beautiful buttocks. Why, Mrs. Smith? Why?
Them.
Sometimes, in my head, I could hear a voice saying, "Spank them."
Spank them.
Often it sounded like a stone weirdo, sort of like him. But at other times, it sounded like my best friend George, who had an annoyingly squeaky voice.
Spank them.
Sort of like that, yes. But I resisted temptation, and now Mrs. Smith lies before us, and I may never be able to squeeze those loving ass cheeks ever again. And I do so repent, my friends. For those cheeks were a thing of beauty. How could you do this to us, Mrs. Smith?
She's still alive.
Shut up. Mrs. Smith was a lot of things to a lot of people, most of whom are not here because they didn't hear about her passing, because I might have put it in the wrong newspaper, which might have been in another language, in the wrong country. That's what happens when you do it online. Sometimes it gets confusing.
But she's still alive.
Just shut up.
She's still moving.
Do you want to die, bud? Do you want to die? Mrs. Smith! I don't know why she called herself Mrs. Smith, because she was clearly not married. Which is sad, because with buttocks like that, that is just a travesty. Who would not want a piece of that? I mean, I would, who wouldn't you?
You should have spanked him, bruh.
I should have, but I didn't. Because it would be wrong now, because she's dead, and necrophilia is not my thing.
It's not so bad.
Are you sure? No, no. Mrs. Smith was thought by many to look like Angelina Jolie.
Give the pout.
Pout. In case. Mrs. Smith, like Angelina Jolie, was a fan of adoption. She had 3 cats, 2 squirrels, and a lot of goats. Because that, my friends, is what the generous do. They adopt goats.
She
No.
had a lot of horses too, if you know what I mean.
I really don't know what you mean by that.
Horses.
Horses, what, I mean, come on bro, what are you talking about?
Horses.
Yeah, okay. I don't know. Anyway, Mrs. Smith, in her last words before she died,
She's still alive!
Shut up. mentioned that she did indeed believe that I had invented the chicken. Finally, at the end of her life, she had a breakthrough moment. Oh, motherfucker. She had a breakthrough moment and decided that I was the king of the universe. Thank you. We shall now lower this body into the ground where she'll be buried and never fucking come back. Thank you.
She's still alive!